Hi everyone, my name is Daniel. I'm one of Paul Rogers' PhD students working at Northumbria Uni actually, and I'm embedded within Newcastle Carers Centre, and I work with the dementia carers there. I'm not really sure what I was supposed to say about this slide. I'm coming towards the end of my PhD research, during which I've just been seeing how dementia carers interact with the different services, the support services available for them, such as the NHS, local authority, and different charities. What's kind of interesting about this is that it's a complete mess, in Newcastle at least. I don't know if it is anywhere else. But it's sometimes more interesting to get in and explore the cracks in between a structure rather than something that's already perfect. So the first thing that I really did was do these very, very long form interviews with carers, and in the other room you can see these really long timelines that we've made. You can see it's colour-coded here, and they're talking about different things that have happened, different services that got involved when, and whether or not they were positive or negative experiences. And they're really quite large things, and it was quite a successful project because the size and the scale, they kind of insist on being noticed. And these are experiences that carers have that otherwise wouldn't be noticed. And this particular photo was taken in Newcastle City Council chambers. The thing which I'm really interested in with my research is this idea, this wonderful idea of redistributing power and the power for design, and to be an agent of that. And also to remind everyone that when we're providing these services to carers and people with dementia, we're talking about real human need, we're not talking about abstract concepts. A lot of my research has shown that what people often want isn't necessarily to have their hands held all the way through the process of caring for someone with dementia, but to design it themselves according to their own needs and the needs of the person that they're caring for. So I'm more interested, rather than in telling people what to do, in creating a platform to help them. So some of you might recognise the NICE dementia pathway, which is a clinical pathway, post-diagnosis, and you can see that it's a nice linear format, and clinicians can look at it and see, well, at this particular stage, and this is X, Y, and Z are the things that we can do in response to it. NHS England asked me to see whether or not that actually reflected the reality. And I wanted to surround myself with evidence, so I'm working with carers and people with dementia to talk about things that made their life better, their hopes for the future, things that made their life difficult, and their fears for the future. And we did a couple of workshops with people, and we came out with these 8 different, it's like a tube map almost. Be useful, plan ahead, know my rights, be heard, live the way I want, cope in a crisis, be healthy, and be happy. And what I thought was really interesting about this, of course, is that you can apply that to pretty much anything. None of the things that they were talking about were really specific to dementia. They're really just saying, how do you establish a platform to help people? So in Stockton and in North Tyneside, where I've been working, this is a Stockton one, and this are all the different interventions that all the different organisations have in Stockton. So it might be a carers cafe or an information point or what have you. And they're all laid out on here. And you can see that there's very little about knowing your rights and an awful lot on the other side. I'm kind of losing now. So we laid them all out, and you can see that this, what I'm trying to do with it is create kind of off-the-peg service. What would it look like if someone could just navigate their own way through this? So Mr. Red wants to go to these 3 organisations, and Mrs. Green wants to go to these 4 ones, and there's some kind of overlap, but they're allowed to create their own pathway through. So yeah, guys, if you could just grab the map, please. We also came up with this idea of dementia service maps. What would it look like if dementia were a physical landscape? Once you've got past these initial shocks at the bottom of the map, there's stigma and denial, cultural issues, things like that, then you get onto the actual landscape, and you kind of design this sort of fun idea of the different areas that make up dementia care. So in the legal orchard, we've got all the different things that relate to wills, power of attorney, which a lot of people don't even know about, which is quite scary almost, given how powerful it actually is. And also looking at care home maze and stuff like that. And once we created this map with carers and people with dementia, we went to the organisations again and said, can you populate this map according to where you sit, your interventions sit on the actual landscape? So you can see on this, for example, there's a few things in red there, they're the NHS ones. And then for the last few weeks, I've been sitting down with people in cafes in the northeast and just saying, this is the map, what's your experience? So in blue here, it's a really simplified version of it, but in blue we've got one person's ideal experience. and then in orange we have what actually happened to them. You can see all these different things they wanted to get involved with, but didn't even know about. And this is the second person, same kind of thing. They got this signposting and they got sent off to all these different things, and actually it was very useful for them, but there were still a few other things they wanted to get involved with, and things they're scared about care homes. They want to be listened to a bit more, things like that. And so they now are empowered, in a sense, to understand where they sit within the wider landscape, and it can help them consider where they want to go in the future. And it's also seems to be quite useful for the organisations that are involved as well, because they can see where their landscape is being neglected and where there are space for collaborations. Not on this map, but on the Stockton one. There's a couple of organisations that follow each other around the map the entire way, but they didn't even know about each other. It was absolutely crazy. Enthusiasm does not equal impact, and this is the thing which kind of annoys me about the PhDs, that everyone really likes it, but then you talk to an organisation and then they go, well, you know, we'll see you in a month or something like that. And you can't really get ahead of steam going. But design is really useful for a number of reasons, and particularly this middle one, to set aside mental and physical space for experimentation, because this is something which health and social care services really are quite scared of. Experimentation has failure is an inherent part of it, and it's very difficult to fail when you're providing a social care or healthcare service for people. One of the outcomes is that we're about to make this dementia hub in Newcastle, and this could be a really great thing. Obviously the dementia hubs elsewhere in the country, but this research and the research that we're going to do will inform what it looks like, where it's going to go and who it's going to be for. Right, thank you very much.